Why are the clothes still damp after drying or after maybe they're excessively wet in the washer? It's a great question. It happens frequently. And the reason it happens is on the washer side, water valves, they're opening and closing constantly. And that water is corrosive. Even if it's softened, it still has properties in it that likes to eat rubber, and those water valves go bad. And so they will get stuck open. And so even though we're not calling for water, the water is constantly going in. So even though you spun it and you extracted it at those really high G-force, it sits there and then it gets soaked again. And then you put it over into the dryer. If it's an older dryer, let's say with the manual dual timer, and you set, usually it's 30 minutes and you set it for 30 minutes and it's still damp. Well, because you pulled it out of the washer soaking wet. So a lot of times you might need to go back to the washer and just listen to it with the door open and see if you hear water running. It also could be well, not necessarily, because you would get an alarm on it, but a drain not opening and draining out properly. On the dryer side, there's a lot of new technology out there that has moisture sensing on it. Instead of you deciding how long to dry, we set an automatic cycle out, and it's got with the Unimac dryers, it's got OptiDry, which is it's a device that sits inside the dryer that physically touches the linens and measures moisture of the linens. And so when you hit a 3%, 2% moisture left in the linens, it will shut off. So it will adjust itself to dry until you're completely dry. So take that guesswork out of how long do I need to dry? Is it too long or too short? Let technology do that for you. All you got to do is hit sheets. Is programmed at the right temperature. It'll shut off at the right moisture content. So it'll take away a lot of those problems of, hey, is it still wet when I open it up? Or is it over dried and it's creating static electricity, and you'll see all your expensive linens going out the bottom of the dryer in the form of lint. So dryers, things that can go wrong. There's an airflow switch on those dryers, meaning the air has to properly come through the dryers. On a commercial, they have to come through. It has to pull a suction in, pulls that airflow switch in, which completes the circuit, which will allow the gas valve to come on and allow the dryers to heat up. Well, what are things that will affect the airflow? Buildup of lint. You're not cleaning your lint out every few loads at the bottom of the dryer. If you've got an exhaust vent, and let's say that you put at the end of it, you put a chicken wire because you're worried about birds, well, that could get clogged up with lint. If you are venting for long stretches, the airflow speed slows down because it's so long, and then the lint can fall out of that air and start building up in your dryer vent, which is very dangerous for lint fires. But overall, it starts to clog. Now we don't have proper airflow. It won't heat. Makeup air. So we're moving a 75-pound dryer. You're moving 850 to 1,000 CFM of air. You got to replenish that air. So if you've got an outside makeup air source that gets shut off in the winter, motorized louver doesn't work, then the dryer doesn't have air. The airflow is not correct. It won't ignite. So there's a lot of things to look at in terms of, hey, you're calling us and saying, hey, my dryer's not heating. Well, let's look at the simple things first that are not really necessarily the dryer itself having a problem with an igniter or a gas valve or et cetera that could be causing a problem. It could be an external situation. And so, we always do an annual service school here. We just completed one here in October. We had 3 locations. We had close to 100 people through, and we teach them these things. And we teach them how to, look for the simple things, but also a few of the simpler fixes to make sure that all their equipment is operating properly.